Alright, here goes the Algebra for the College Bound, Chapter 4, quiz review. Looks like we're starting off with a graphing of a rational function problem, which we just learned on Tuesday, so it should be pretty fresh. First thing I want to do is identify where the vertical asymptote and the horizontal asymptote are. And so to find the vertical asymptote, I'm going to look at the denominator and figure out what value of x would make the denominator 0, and that is -2. So it means our vertical asymptote is at x equals -2. Make sure you write that as an equation. And then the horizontal asymptote will always be where this constant here is at the end. And that's going to be y equals 3. I'm going to go ahead and put that information onto the graph. I have it, so -2, here's the vertical line. So we'll be expecting you guys to draw those in and label them. And then horizontal asymptote at 3. So drawing that in and labeling it. Alright, so then I can use that -2 that I just got to start filling out the table, and put that right in the middle. I'm going to use the pattern that we talked about in class, which was half away. So 1/2 below 2 would be -2.5, and then 1 away, so 1 below 2 would be -3, and then 4 away, which would be 4 below, which would be -6. I'm going to go half above, so -1.5, 1 above, so -1, and then 4 above, which would be at 2. Then I'm going to plug those values into the calculator. It's not something I can easily show you on this system here, unless you can see this. So I plug those into the calculator. Make sure, if that is something that you're not trying to do, that you talk to somebody. There's not really a way for me to show you how to do that on here. Make sure that your independent variable is set to ask, and that'll make things easier for you. And make sure you plug the equation in your y equals. So those are the values I got for my y's. Go ahead and plot those points. So -6, 3.1, so that should be right above the asymptote here. And then -3, 4, and 2.5, 7. And -1.5, 7, -1, 4, and then 2, 3.1. And I'm going to draw the curve through those. So next to one asymptote, curving away, and then up next to the other one. Remember, they should not cross the asymptotes, just run parallel next to it. Right, that's what that graph will look like. Last thing I need to do here is talk about the domain and the range. Domain is your x values, so as I approach from the left-hand side here, I see that arrow pointing to the left, so I know that I'm going to start at -infinity. And it gets a parenthesis, like all infinities do. And then what value do we approach before there's a problem? So the problem starts when we hit that asymptote, so that's where -2 is. So from -infinity to -2, we're all good. We can't reach -2 though, so we use a parenthesis. And then on the other side of -2, to then all the way to the right, which would be +infinity, everything's good. The range, as we come up from the bottom of the graph, looking for those y values, don't see any y values until we go just beyond 3. So this range doesn't start until 3, but just on the other side of 3, so we don't get to use bracket. And then it goes up forever, so to positive infinity. Alright, that's what graphing that rational function should look like. Anytime you do a square, they should always go in the same direction, whether they both go up or they both point down. Depends on the sign of the numerator. So that being positive, those both went up. Alright, moving on to the second problem. Another rational function graphing. This time we don't see a square in the denominator, so it should look more like a normal hyperbola. Again, what I'm going to look for is what value of x would make the denominator 0, and that would be an x value of 4. Again, I want you guys to write an equation there, not just a number. And then when we're looking for the horizontal asymptote, it's a y equals, then you're looking at that constant at the end there. If there's nothing there, it's just 0. But here we have negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those on my graph now that I know where they are. So at 4, and at negative 2. Okay, and then I'm going to use the x value of my vertical asymptote. That's going to be my middle of my table. And then I'm going to go half away on below, 1 away below, and then 4 away below, and half above, 1 above, and then 4 above. And at this point, I'm going to go use the calculator to figure out the values. I know that when I plug in 4, I'll get an error, so let's just leave that like that. So I'm going to go get those numbers, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got my values into my table now. I'll plot those points. So 0, negative 2.25, so that should be just underneath our asymptote here. Let's see, 3, negative 3, and 3.5, negative 4. And on the right side, 4.5, 0. 5, negative 1, and 8, negative 7, negative 1.75, which would be right above our asymptote here. So then, as I go to draw that curve, be close to one asymptote, curve away, and move close to the other asymptote. Arrows on both ends. Start close to one asymptote, curve away, end up close to the other asymptote. Arrows on both ends. So there's our second hyperbola. Notice that since our numerator was positive 1, that the right side of the graph has the up portion, and then the left side of the graph has the down portion. If the numerator were negative, that would have flipped. So the last thing here would be domain and range. Domain, as I approach from the left side, I see that arrow coming to the left, so that's going to be negative infinity. Everything's good to go until we hit 4, where that asymptote is. And on the other side of 4, everything starts again, and we go off to the right forever. Then the domain, range, go from the bottom. We said there's an arrow pointing down, so it gets a negative infinity. Everything's good until we hit negative 2. And they have the asymptote there, and then on the other side of negative 2, it goes up forever. So this one has both 2 parts for the domain and the range, unlike the one that had square in it, which only had 1 part for the range. So there's what. Oh, I forgot to label my asymptotes. Look at that. Make sure I do that. So that would be x equals 4, and then y equals negative 2. Again, I will be looking for that from you guys. Alright, looks like this page is all done now.